Yo, it's your boy Opally, and today, this is what if Naruto was an Anbu. With that being said, let's get into it.
Winter time, all the time, ooh.
Yeah, okay.
Disrespectful and I'm
Okay.
Winter one hell of a kid. Smoking gas, just
Winter.
what you doing out of dick? Slick talker since a jet.
Wintertime, all the time, ooh, yeah. Look at the way that I move, swag. Disrespectful and I'm rude, okay. I had cocaine in the school. Winter one hell of a kid. I am smoking gas, jogging mid. I'm lit. What you doing out in dick? I swear. Slick talker since a jet. Finesse. I know that this what they want. Facts. Run up some money, I'm gone. I'm out. I'm the truth like Ron. Killing, sipping lean and saying one. I did it. I taught myself to finesse. For real. I taught myself how to judge. For real. Being broke was no fun. No way. Wintertime, all the time. Wintertime, all the time.
We start off this if with Naruto and his older brother Minma trying to skip rocks at a lake at night. There, Anbu were lurking in the shadows trying to kidnap Naruto as they were sent by Danzo to pretty much turn him into a super soldier. Naruto and Minma would be attacked by the Anbu, and one of the Anbu would stab Minma in the chest. As Naruto would try to jump after Minma as he fell in a lake, Naruto would be pulled from the deck and thrown to the ground. Naruto would be successfully brought to Danzo. Danzo would pretty much be happy to see that his Anbu pretty much, kidnapped Naruto and left Minma dead. Naruto would get a sail on his stomach that brainwashed him and then pretty much rendered him under Danzo's possession. During the next 2 years of Naruto's training, he was given drugs to enhance his abilities. He would then be given an Anbu team with Kiba and Sai. This version of Kiba is actually a prodigy, which over time he became an Anbu. Also, over the 2 years, Sasuke and Minma were learning the 8 gates by Guy Sensei. They also started up Team Taka to retrieve Naruto and kill Itachi. After Naruto's supposed death, Guy Sensei actually adopted Minma. Minma and Sasuke were just assigned to Team 7 with Sakura. They would eventually meet Kakashi Sensei. Kakashi would ask him about their goals and aspirations. Sasuke would respond saying that he would kill a certain someone, Minma saying that he wanted to be Hokage. Last but obviously least, Sakura would say that she just wanted to be a great Konoichi. The reason why Minma wanted to be Hokage was so he could fix the corrupt system. Kakashi would pretty much continue on to tell them about the belt test and what's gonna go down there. Kakashi is actually like an uncle figure towards Minma due to the close relationship of my guy and Kakashi. So once the day of the belt test came, Team 7 would all gather at the training field waiting for Kakashi's arrival. When Kakashi arrived, he would start up the belt test. Team 7 would all back up into the bushes. Minma would open the second gate and he would speed over the Sasuke and Sakura to strategize their plan. Minma would go in as a decoy with water release all around him being used as armor. Minma would pull out his sword and go into the third gate and press him with his speed. Minma kept Kakashi's attention long enough to the point where Sasuke can find an opening and use the fireball jutsu. Minma would punch Kakashi using his word release to latch on to Kakashi's body, pretty much connecting him to the roots in the ground, rendering him immobile. Kakashi seeing the incoming fireball, he would use the substitution jutsu. Kakashi would substitute with a log and pretty much lurk in the shadows of a tree. There he would see Sakura moving in the bushes, seemingly only having the defense of a kunai. He would go after the supposed weakest link. By the time that he was already within 20 feet of Sakura, he was already caught in Sakura's genjutsu. Sakura uses the Harugan, her family's Kake Genkai, in a perimeter. So if anybody came too close to her, the genjutsu would automatically activate. In the genjutsu, Kakashi would easily begin his attack upon Sakura. Sakura would be easily overpowered by Kakashi, pretty much letting Kakashi's guard down after the supposed fight ended. She would pretty much use a fireball jutsu, and that's when Kakashi would realize this is a genjutsu. Knowing that Sakura is not capable of this jutsu, he would release it and realize that the bells have already been taken to him, and he would pretty much see the celebration of Minma, Sasuke, and Sakura. Sakura genjutsus are so pinpointly accurate that Kakashi didn't even realize he was in one until he knew that she was doing something impossible for her to do. Throughout the first month of their early training, they would pretty much do chores instead of missions, like trying to find somebody's cat. Minmo would be annoyed by these missions, so would Sakura, but she wouldn't say anything. Sasuke is the one who spoke up. Sasuke spoke up about these missions, saying that it undermined his intelligence and his power. As for the rest of Team 7, they pretty much agree with his statement. They will be assigned a quick and easy C-rank mission. Kakashi and Sakura would see a genjutsu along the walk, and they would pretty much release it, and with Minma and Sasuke pretty much following along. There, the Chunin brothers would step out, swiftly trying to attack Minma and Sakura, and with Sasuke using water release to get mini water dragons to come out of the river under them. With the pure water pressure of 8 dragons that arose, they would pretty much take one of the Chunin off the bridge. The other Chunin would be caught up in Sakura's genjutsu, pretty much burning them to ashes. Then Sasuke would rob that man for what he has and see a map, the map of the village. They would find Gato's headquarters. They would drop Tazuna off at his house, so Tazuna would prepare to make the bridge with his team. Once they had gotten to Gato's headquarters / warehouse, they would pretty much see a bunch of drugs that enhances their chakra and a bunch of firearms. As Gato would pretty much come by, seeing that Team 7 is pretty much taking care of their goons. Gato would pretty much send the 8 men behind him to shoot at them. They would shoot fireworks at the team that is enhanced with chakra, so it's on the level of actual bullets, as they pretty much explode and they actually hit Sasuke. This would anger Sakura so much to the point where she would unlock the 2nd stage to her Harugan, pretty much shredding some of the ninja in the genjutsu. This would render her incapacitated due to how much chakra the 2nd stage takes. Kakashi and Naruto would easily take down Gato's men. Kakashi would see one of Gato's booby traps and he would throw a kunai at it, detonating the bomb strapped to the ceiling, dropping a bunch of debris upon Gato, killing him. Everyone else of Gato's men pretty much left the building due to the fear of the police force being there, especially after the alarm came off and an explosion was heard. Sakura would be left at Tazuna's house. Sasuke would pretty much be rushed to the hospital. Minmo feels a bunch of guilt, and he feels like he could have helped Sasuke before his life was pretty much put in danger. His guilt pretty much became anger, and he pretty much wanted to waste some steam by training. Minmo went into a nearby forest and started throwing kunai at a tree. He attempts to train, but he can't just shake the idea of his best friend dying. After his many attempts of training, Minmo quickly got exhausted and fell asleep in the nearby grass. Hours later, Minmo would be awoken by Haku. Haku would pretty much have a totally different situation and conversation with Minmo he would have with Naruto. After that conversation, Minmo would say that he would have to go, after Haku was going to kill him in his sleep when he saw that he was from the Leaf Village. At this point in time, Team 7 has already been rumored to be here. Meanwhile, Kakashi was picking up Sasuke after he was released from the hospital. Minmo would run back into Tazuna's house and he would pretty much see Kakashi and Sakura taking care of Sasuke. Sasuke would soon wake up from his unconsciousness after Team 7 pretty much left him and continue on with the mission. Sasuke would begin crawling outside of the bed, seeing a plate being thrown and 2 ninja attacking Tazuna's daughter. Sasuke struggling to stand, he would try to grab one of the broken blades on the ground and he would pick it up, stabbing one of them in the chest and using the fireball jutsu. The other ninja would quickly flee, leaving his teammate behind. As Sasuke would slowly limp outside of the house, thinking to himself that there's no way he's gonna die before killing Itachi. While Sasuke is making his way back to Team 7, Zabuza is getting impatient waiting for Team 7 to arrive at the bridge. Once they arrived, the fight between Zabuza and Kakashi commenced, leaving Kakashi to be stuck in a water bubble jutsu. Haku tries to attack Tazuna, but Minma came through and used wood release. Haku would have to activate the Ice Mirror jutsu after Minma pressed him with the 8 gates. Sakura would try to use shadow clones to get Kakashi from the water bubble, but Zabuza would easily stop the 2 clones and destroy them instantly. At this point in time, Sasuke would join the battle. He would throw his sword at Kakashi's water bubble jutsu, breaking it. Zabuza would look back saying that he forgot about that kid as he would kick Kakashi away from him. Kakashi would backflip towards Sasuke, tell him to use his water jutsu so he can enhance it with his lightning. As Sasuke sent a water dragon jutsu straight at Zabuza, Zabuza would be able to block the water dragon with his sword, but the pressure of the water still set him back a couple of feet. Sasuke would throw a shuriken at him, which would transform it into Kakashi, as Kakashi mid-air would use the Chidori, coming straight down on Zabuza. Zabuza would try to block the brunt force of the attack, which he did with his sword, but it broke. Zabuza would get pierced in the stomach, and Zabuza would pretty much flip away and pretty much put his sword into the ground, saying that he wouldn't be beat that easily, and that he had to get the money from Gato. Kakashi would say that Gato is dead as he would flip back and pull out some kunai. Meanwhile, Minma has gotten so angry that he is pretty much going into a beta form of the 4th gate. He would be able to be fast enough to catch Haku slipping in the ice mirrors and pretty much punch him out. Haku would hit the ground, pretty much breaking his mask and revealing the person behind it. Minma would just tell Haku to stay down as he did not want to continue this fight. He already had a bond with Haku, so he didn't want to fight him any longer. Haku would ask why he spared him after betrayal of his trust. Haku would say that he's mere a broken weapon, he should be thrown in the trash like one. Minma would talk no jutsu to him, saying that there's a better life beyond being a puppet for somebody. Minma would talk no jutsu to Zabuza too, saying that he did not have to be a fugitive and do more crimes just to get money. Minma would also convince Haku to join Team Taka. Zabuza would get a 4-year prison sentence, so pretty much he's free in the day, but he would always have to go back to the prison at night. And if he would ever commit any type of crime, he would be instantly executed. Meanwhile, Naruto and his Anbu team were sent on a mission to infiltrate the Gulag. In the Gulag, they pretty much take orphans and the poor, and they pretty much put them against each other in death matches, betting on them on who would win. So the plan is that they have to go in there and shut down the whole procedure and pretty much take down the ringleader Nakamura. But first they would have to infiltrate the building. They do have guards due to what they're doing is actually illegal. They would use chakra and walk on the side of the building, pretty much entering from the ceiling hatchet. As they would look down, they would see a brutal death match. They would look down at the underground stadium, pretty much seeing their ringleader, Nakamura. They would jump off the railings. Naruto would use the wind tornado jutsu, clearing out most of the stadium. Sai would separate from the group and free the prisoners. He would draw down a bunch of lions and they would pretty much start attacking the guards. Akumaru would smell the scent of the ringleader, leading Kiba and Naruto to an underground escape tunnel. They would speed past the dumped dead bodies who were either starved or were murdered. Nakamura would activate his Kage Genkai that allows him to control telekinesis. With this ability, he would pretty much grab Naruto, throwing him out the window. Sai would finally catch up to Kiba. They would both run at Nakamura, beginning this fight. Naruto would wake up from unconsciousness while they were fighting. Naruto's cells starting to slowly lose effectiveness on his brain due to the fall and the brain injury. Naruto would scale up the wall with the chakra and he would pretty much jump in through the window. Naruto has just realized that he's been manipulated by Danzo. This made him so angry that a bit of the 9 till his chakra would come out. When he came in, he would see Sai on the ground with his arm ripped off. Naruto would get his first tilt quirk and he would pretty much jump on Nakamura. Naruto would proceed to judo slam Nakamura to the ground. Nakamura would try to use his telekinesis, but it would barely even push back Naruto. Naruto would throw him into a wall, then brutally kick him in his head. Kiba was stunned in fear after he saw Sai's arm ripped off. Naruto would fall unconscious since this is the first time he used the Kyuubi's power. Alright, so that's where I'm gonna end off this with. With that being said, I'm Audi 9000.